windows. We are looking just at the foundation. Look at this solid wall, wide enough for chariots to drive two ways on top. Remember, if you have a breach or the enemy comes to a place, you need to bring the troops as fast as possible. Why not drive on the wall? And that's the idea here. So that's massive wall. Beside that, you see a piece of wall of you see there's some a house actually. You see there? That house, we see only a corner of the house. Nobody builds a house by a wall that is triangular. The house is usually square, which means the house existed before the wall. But now there's emergency. What do? Too bad, you on the way. We need you home for the stone and you out. And you can see literally what does Isaiah say. You have counted, somebody went, the engineers went making their plans, counted the house and say this one and this one and this one and this one. We're going to remove them. And telling the people, you know what, you choose where you want to be, on the inside, on the outside. That must have been very difficult times. But on the other side, it was a question of the life of the whole city. And the Assyrians were coming and you had to do fast. And that wall literally is showing you the text to the word, the text of Isaiah. Isaiah is present at this moment. And of course, I told you, he's not happy because they are doing a lot of construction, but not taking care of the only one that can save them. And there's nowhere a place like that where you can see how the Bible comes through to the word. Especially that sentence, counting the houses. And when you see the house that was cut by the wall, that's it. So the wall of Isaiah, the wall of Hezekiah, and notice we had to cover it. We cannot excavate everything. We left a sign. You see in that red stone, here and there. So that sign is around the Jewish quarter. No, Jewish quarter is modern. We have seen Muslim quarter, we have seen Christian quarter. What's the difference? It's so modern. It's because in 1948, when the Jordanians captured the old city, they was no fighting in the three other quarters. But in the Jewish quarter, yes. And eventually, when they capture it, they destroy it. Not by the fighting. After the war, they just came with everything to destroy. The big synagogues were destroyed with explosives, and the houses were destroyed, bulldozers and everything. We have to say also they allowed all the Arabs from the West Bank, from East Jerusalem, to come and take whatever they took. So they did not just take things that were inside the house, they actually took the stones, window frames, all kind of things that you can reuse. So when in 67, 19 years later, Israel returned to the old city, what did they find?
Ruins.
You know, 3/4 regular, normal, and 1/4 just almost leveled. A mound of rubble. Very few buildings were standing. No, that's a catastrophe. But on the other side, look at the positive side. Israel decided to rebuild the Jewish quarter. And lo and behold, Jerusalem is a tell. There's 19 cities here. And they started to find ruins underneath. So they stopped the building. They say, before we build, excavate. That was the first time we could excavate on a large scale. And then, together, archaeologists and architects worked hand in hand. You know, they don't have the same goals. Archaeologists want to dig, and the architects want to go up and build over. They had to come to compromise. What to keep and what to cover. You cannot keep everything, you cannot cover everything. The result is a Jewish quarter. Some parts that are visible, some parts that were covered, and a lot of them are on stilts. Why stilts? So you can visit underneath and live above. And the result is this compromise. Much more expensive than was planned, of course. But the result is nice. So that's what we call the Jewish quarter, the more modern of the quarters of the old city. Okay, from here we're heading to the Cardo and Decumanus, to the Christian city, to the Christian quarter, okay? we'll have our time for shopping, and then slowly we'll return toward the Western Wall. Is that okay?
Da voi.